Welcome to the Family Sports Trivia Podcast. We are your hosts, Theo
and Joanna. We are a mom and son duo who love playing games and trivia with the rest of our family. Each episode format will consist of 2 rounds of sports trivia, and you can follow along at home or in the car. Let's get to it.
This episode is all about the NFL Draft. Each year during the NFL offseason, teams add to their roster by selecting players who aren't already in the league. Let's see how much you know about Draft Day.
For this episode, our contestants will alternate questions, and we encourage those of you following along to either play adult versus kid or combine your powers to try to beat our contestants' total scores.
The first round has questions worth 1 point each, and the second round has questions worth 2 points each. Each contestant will answer 5 questions per round.
Today's contestants are Dad, Chad, and son, Russell. They both love football and are excited to watch the draft and think about what their favorite team, the Cowboys, will look like this year, and also think about their future fantasy football teams. Both contestants were given the theme ahead of time and were encouraged to study.
Daddy, how did you prepare for this episode?
I looked up some of the oldest history on Wikipedia to read about the history of the NFL draft.
Russell, how did you prepare for this episode?
I didn't.
Well, hopefully that's enough. Our first question is for Chad. How many rounds are in the NFL draft? Is it A, 5, B, 6, C, 7, or D, 10?
That would be C, 7.
That's correct. And did you know that the draft used to have 30 rounds through the 1950s? Can you imagine sitting through that? But since 1994, the draft has featured 7 rounds. Question 2 is for Russell. Which team gets the first overall pick? Is it A, the Super Bowl winner, B, a random lottery, C, the worst record from the previous season, or D, expansion teams only?
That'd be C. I know that because the Bears got the first round a couple of years ago.
Okay, well, we'll talk about that in a little bit. The answer is correct. You're correct. It is C, the worst record. And if there are ties, they're broken by the strength of the schedule. Question 3 is for Chad. What is the time limit for a team to make a pick in round 1? Is it A, 5 minutes, B, 10 minutes, C, 15 minutes, or D, no limit?
That would be A, 5 minutes.
That is incorrect, but you're so confident I had to double check. The correct answer is B, 10 minutes. The draft takes place over 3 days, and on the first day, we only do round 1, and teams have 10 minutes to make their pick. The second and third rounds are on day 2, and rounds 4 to 7 are on the third day. Teams get 7 minutes to make picks in the second round, 5 minutes for regular or compensatory picks in rounds 3 to 6, and 4 minutes in round 7. Question 4 is for Russell. What happens if a team doesn't pick in time? Is it A, they lose their pick? Is it B, the commissioner picks for them? C, the next team can jump ahead? Or D, the draft pauses?
A?
That is incorrect. They don't lose their pick, but the next team can jump ahead. And this has actually happened before. Teams can snipe picks, but then the team can pick later. For example, in 2003, the Minnesota Vikings infamously failed to make their selection for number 7 in time, allowing the Jaguars and Panthers to pick ahead of them before the Vikings finally made their pick at number 9. Question 5 is for Chad. What are compensatory picks? Are they A, picks for losing free agents, B, bonus picks for trades, C, picks for winning playoffs, or D, picks for rookies?
That would be A.
The correct answer is A, losing free agents. They are added at the ends of rounds 3 to 7. Question 6 is for Russell. What is the nickname for the last pick in the draft? Is it A, the final shot, B, last call, C, Mr. Irrelevant, or D, lucky pick?
That would be C, Mr. Irrelevant.
That's correct. And did you know that Mr. Irrelevant gets a whole week of celebrations called Irrelevant Week? Irrelevant Week is an annual celebration in Newport Beach, California that honors the very last player selected in the NFL draft, known as Mr. Irrelevant. Founded in 1976 by Paul Salata, this week-long event celebrates the underdog and to celebrate each and every person who is drafted into the NFL. It features a Lozman banquet where the player receives the Lozman Trophy, which is the opposite of the Heisman, a Disneyland trip, and community events.
I want to be the last pick.
Same.
Sounds pretty cool. Question 7 is for Chad. 3 of the following teams have never had a number 1 pick in the draft. Which is a team that has had a number 1 overall pick? Is it A, the Ravens, B, the Broncos, C, the Seahawks, or D, the Raiders?
That would be B, the Broncos.
That's incorrect. The correct answer is D. The Raiders had the number 1 pick in 2007 when they were in Oakland. The other teams have never had the number 1 overall pick in the draft.
I misunderstood the question. I obviously know that the Raiders had Jamarcus Russell as their first overall pick.
Maybe the biggest bust in NFL history?
Maybe.
Well, question 8 is for Russell. Who announces most first-round picks on stage? Is it A, the team owner, B, the head coach, C, a fan, or D, the NFL commissioner?
I think it's D.
That's correct, the NFL commissioner. Currently, that's Roger Goodell, and he gets booed every year.
Why?
Fans tend not to like the commissioner.
Why?
Why?
Because a lot of anything that's wrong with the league, they blame him. So that if they're not happy with rules or changes or how their team is doing or anything at all, they blame the commissioner.
Why?
Because he's like the face of the league.
Oh.
Why does he want to be?
He makes a lot of money, and he actually works for the owners. So the owners...
Pay him?
The league pays him, but the owners, he works for them. So he's the face. He's kind of like the neutral party who's supposed to like look out for the entire league, help with all of like the branding, TV deals, contracts. Like he oversees, I think, a lot of that. Fun fact, I've actually seen him twice. One time at my chiropractor, he walked out, and another time at the airport.
What's a chiropractor?
Person who like helps adjust your back and makes your muscles, your back, your spine feel better.
Did you say hi?
No, I was totally shocked. Like, I did not expect him to walk out, and he went and got in his big SUV.
Question 9 goes to Chad. Who was the number 1 pick in the first ever NFL draft in 1936? Was it A, Jim Brown, B, Jay Berwanger, C, Red Grange, or D, Sammy Baugh?
And this is why I was looking on Wikipedia, because I would have never known this, but I do believe it's B.
That's correct. And fun fact, he actually never played in the NFL. Question 10 goes to Russell. Which position is most commonly selected number 1 overall? Is it A, a running back, B, a quarterback, C, wide receiver, or D, a linebacker?
gonna guess a QB.
That's correct. Teams tend to build their franchises around QBs, so they go after a good one if one is available. Theo, what is the score after round 1?
Daddy has 3 and Russell has 4.
All right, families at home and in the car, what was your score? Did you beat Chad and Russell? Before we get into round 2, our next segment is called the Sports Stat Corner, where we explain a sports stat related to our episode. Today's stat is expected value. Expected value is just a fancy way of asking, what do I expect to get on average if I make this choice? Let's start with an easy example. If I flip a coin, and when I flip heads, you win $10, and when I flip tails, you win $0, we know that flipping a coin is 50-50, a flipping heads versus tails. So your expected value is 50% chance of getting 10 and 50% chance of getting 0. So even though you might win $0 or $10, on average, that coin flip is worth $5. Now, what does this have to do with the NFL draft? Every draft pick is kind of like a lottery ticket. Some players become stars, some become average, and some don't work out at all. So each pick has an expected value based on how players picked in that spot usually perform. This expected value generally measures a player's expected performance, and the key idea in the draft is that early picks equals high expected value and late picks equals low expected value. A number 1 overall pick might have a high chance of becoming a star, a decent chance of becoming solid, and a small chance of busting. But a 6th round pick, they have a very small chance of becoming a star and a much higher chance of never making an impact. That's why teams care so much about draft position. It also explains a couple different strategies. Teams like to trade up for one high value pick or trade down for more picks and more chances. This is like going after a better player with a 50% chance of being a star versus 3 lower draft picks with each having a 20% chance of becoming a star. That's because sometimes a low value pick does hit big, and that's like hitting the jackpot on a cheap lottery ticket. So having more lottery tickets may increase your overall expected value in the draft. Join us next episode for our next Sports Stat Corner.
Welcome back. Round 2 will also have 5 questions for each contestant, and each question will be worth 2 points each. As a reminder, the score is Daddy has 3 and Russell has 4.
Question 1 is for Chad. Which Heisman winner was not drafted in the first round? Is it A, Cam Newton, B, Joe Burrow, C, Lamar Jackson, or D, Derrick Henry?
That would be D, Derrick Henry.
That's correct. Derrick Henry went in round 2 and became a superstar. Question 2 is for Russell. Which player was drafted number 1 overall but chose to play baseball instead? Is it A, Bo Jackson, B, Kyler Murray, C, John Elway, or D, Deion Sanders?
Bo Jackson.
That's correct. He refused to play for the Buccaneers and went pro in baseball first. Question 3 is for Chad. Which school has produced the most number 1 overall picks? Is it A, Alabama, B, USC, C, Notre Dame, or D, Oklahoma?
Ooh, that's tough. I am going to have to go with D, Oklahoma.
That is incorrect. And as much as you love college players and knowing wherever NFL player went to college, I really thought you would have gotten this. But the answer is B, USC. USC has been a QB factory at times. Chad, can you name a few NFL stars from USC?
Stars from USC. I mean, I always
Anyone that was drafted number 1 overall
number 1 overall. From USC.
from USC. Your kids know.
Sam Darnold. He won the Super Bowl.
I don't have him as on my list of number 1 overall. Was he number 1 overall?
Oh, probably not now.
Theo?
Caleb Williams.
That's correct.
Who's that?
You don't know who Caleb Williams is?
The only good player from Oklahoma is CeeDee Lamb.
Okay, well, some other stars that were drafted number 1 overall from USC were also Carson Palmer.
Matt Leinart. No, he wasn't drafted number 1 overall.
O.J. Simpson.
Disavow.
Ricky Bell.
Never heard of him.
I haven't.
Keyshawn Jackson.
Keyshawn Johnson. Played for the Cowboys.
All right, moving on. Question 4 is for Russell. Which legendary player was drafted in the 6th round and became the GOAT? Was it A, Joe Montana, B, Jerry Rice, C, Tom Brady, or D, Brett Favre?
C.
That's correct. Tom Brady famously went very low in the draft, and it's the ultimate you never know draft story. Question 5 is for Chad. Which draft class is often considered one of the best ever, featuring Manning, Woodson, and Moss? Was it A, 1994, B, 1996, C, 1998, or D, 2000?
I know it was an even year, and I think it was 96.
That is incorrect. And it better be an even year because all the choices were even, but it was 1998. It's loaded with Hall of Fame talent. I had to challenge you a little bit and give you years close together. Otherwise, you would have gotten it. Question 6 is for Russell. What year did the draft become a televised primetime event? Is it A, 1970, B, 1980, C, 1990, or D, 2000?
Is it C?
That is incorrect. The correct answer is B, 1980. ESPN helped turn it into a huge media event. Question 7 is for Chad. Which undrafted player became a Hall of Fame quarterback for the Rams? Is it A, Kurt Warner, B, Tony Romo, C, Warren Moon, or D, Doug Flutie?
That would be A, Kurt Warner, who was part of the fastest game on turf.
That's correct. Did you know that Kurt Warner worked in a grocery store before his NFL career?
Yes, I did.
Yeah, I remember hearing about that, and I thought that was interesting. He eventually signed with the St. Louis Rams in 1998. Question 8 is for Russell. Which position has historically had the most players drafted overall? Is it A, quarterback, B, wide receiver, C, offensive line, or D, running back?
B.
That is incorrect. Correct answer is C, offensive line. Teams need lots of linemen, and depth matters. Question 9 is for Chad. When Caleb Williams was selected first overall in the 2024 NFL Draft by the Chicago Bears, what made the situation especially unusual for the franchise? Is it A, it was the Bears' first ever number 1 overall pick, B, they used a pick acquired from another team, not their own, C, he was the first QB they had ever drafted in round 1, or D, they had already drafted a QB number 1 the year before?
Those all sound very likely, but it is C.
That is incorrect. The correct answer is B. They used a pick acquired from another team. The Bears earned that number 1 pick from the Panthers in a blockbuster trade the year before, turning a previous number 1 pick into another number 1 pick, which is incredibly rare and a masterclass in draft strategy. And our final question is for Russell. When CeeDee Lamb was selected in the first round by the Dallas Cowboys in the 2020 NFL Draft, why was the pick considered surprising at the time? Is it A, the Cowboys had just drafted a wide receiver in the first round the year before? B, he was projected to go in the second round? C, wide receiver was not considered a major team need? Or D, the Cowboys traded up unexpectedly to select him?
C.
That's correct. Wide receiver was not considered a major team need. Do you know who they already had?
Amari Cooper, and they had
They had Amari Cooper and Michael Gallup. So many expected them to pick defense with their first overall pick, but CeeDee Lamb falling to them was too good to pass up.
because he was so good at college.
That's right. Yeah, he ended up being the 17th overall pick, and they couldn't believe that he dropped that low. And he was the 3rd receiver of the draft. Thank you so much to our contestants. Theo, what was the final score?
Daddy has 7 and Russell has 10.
All right. Until the next episode, Russell will have bragging rights in our home. Thank you all for joining us, and we hope you'll tune in for our next episode.
All right. Well, thank you to our hosts. And here are our weekly questions. Question 1. Would you rather your team tank for a first overall pick or throw together an entertaining team but know you won't make the playoffs? Theo?
Tank a first round pick.
Okay. All right. Building for the future. And Joanna?
What do you mean by entertaining team?
You know, like, I don't know, maybe like a 40-year-old gunslinger and some like characters on the team who like are entertaining and stuff.
Backflips into the touchdown.
Sure, they do backflips.
I'm going to say tank for a first round draft pick.
Okay. And Russell?
Tank.
Okay, Tankathon is on here. All right, number 2. If you could go back for your team and draft a different player. Now, we don't have to think about like what place or who was drafted before or after, but if you could, you know, magically draft a different player to add to your team from another team, who would you take? Theo?
I would take Puka Nacua from the LA Rams and put him on the Lions.
Okay.
He would be nice.
And Joanna?
Myles Garrett. The Bears are known for defense, and he's a pretty cool defensive player.
All right, sack leader, sack record holder. Very cool. And Russell?
Probably someone like Cooper DeJean or maybe Max Crosby or Myles Garrett.
Adding some defense to the Cowboys. Nice. Third question is, in fantasy football, which is a time where you get to be a manager of your team and you get to pick players, kind of have that power and select just like general managers do for their own team. In fantasy football for this next year, we don't know the projections yet or anything, but as of now, who would be your first overall draft pick if you were given the first pick for fantasy football?
Jahmyr Gibbs. And then Puka Nacua if he's still open, that no one has chosen him.
Okay. And Joanna?
I actually am going to say Puka Nacua. Watching him play is so electric, and if he can stay healthy, I think he's going to have a good season.
Oh boy, if we do a family league, watch out, Theo. You're not going to get Puka. And Russell?
CeeDee Lamb and then Pickens.
All right.
I'll take Caleb Williams from you.
Excuse me?
Since you took Puka Nacua, take him first, and then I'll take Puka Nacua.
Puka Nacua is not going to drop to you in the second round.
Then I'll take Caleb Williams.
In the second round.
Yeah.
All right, well, good for you.
All right, well, thank you to our hosts, and until next time.
Don't forget to like and subscribe, and please give us a 5-star review wherever you listen to your podcast. Bye.